All right, now, isn't this summit amazing? Are y'all feeling this? No, I mean, are y'all really feeling this? Do y'all like this? This is incredible. I wish I had this kind of event when I was y'all's age. Now, a lot of times when people hear my bio, they hear all the good stuff, okay? And anytime I do a speaking engagement like this, I always tell the person who invites me, I really don't want to talk about all the good stuff. And they're always like, well, you got to, they need something to aspire to be. They need to see, a black man who's successful. And all that's great, okay? And that's fine if y'all was impressed with it. But I really feel like I can really make an impact in your life if I talk about all my scars, if I talk about all the mistakes I made, if I talk about all the bad things that happened to my life, because just listening in the brief time I've been here, I'm sure a lot of y'all are going through some things and you don't understand why you're going through what you're going through. Maybe it could be family related, it could be school related, it could be whatever, okay? So I really don't like talking about all the things I've been able to do. Now, I'm excited about my company, the Fulfill Company, and like Brandon said, yes, that is what we do. Because I've had a background in working with young people, I'm always interested in knowing where you guys' heads at. And that's why I couldn't get a chance to talk to all of you, but there are many of you I did get a chance to meet. Because I always want to know, I see greatness in all you guys, and you may not necessarily see it, but I'm telling you, there's so much greatness in you guys. You guys are so amazing. You guys just don't even know it. I'm telling you, you don't know it. I was where you guys are right now. I was where you are right now. And for me to sit up here and to say that I founded my own company where I get a chance to go around and share my story, and I was shook. I didn't want to share my story before. I used to be ashamed because of all the things I went through. But now I found out that it's empowering other people, and so many other people are going through what I went through and things that I don't. Unfortunately, I can't relate to, but I feel like that's what's going to really impact your lives, okay? So Brandon kind of touched on it a little bit. I'm actually originally from Boston, okay? And I live in Philadelphia now, but born and raised in Boston. And, I'm Haitian. Any Haitians in here? No Haitians? Okay, all right, well, I'm up here. Okay, so I got pet. Okay, all right, so we got some Haitians up here. So listen, my parents came here in the 1960s. They came here from Port-au-Prince looking for a better life. I'm sure all Haitians can relate to that. 1967, they ended up moving, actually they moved to Brooklyn. 1967, they ended up moving here to Boston because again, they was looking for a better life. I'm one of five, 2 boys, 3 girls, okay? Something happened to me, Brandon touched on it. At the age of 13, something happened that rocked my whole world. My father died. Anyone ever lose someone in their family? Of course, right? It stinks, right? And at 13, you're at that age where you're going into manhood. So how can you go into manhood without having someone show you how to become a man? So my mother did her thing. She held it down. As much as I love my mother, she's not a man. She couldn't teach me how to become a man. So at 13, my father lost his life of a heart attack at the age of 42. So, I'm not going to assume everybody understands. Listen, 42 years old for a heart attack is really young. It's never a good time, of course, for a heart attack, but it's very, very young. And because of that, my family was struggling. Both my parents were struggling to make ends meet together. When we lost my father, it was really bad. From there, we ended up experiencing homelessness. We ended up experiencing financial issues, of course. We didn't get a chance I didn't get a chance to dress as nice as y'all are dressing right now. Okay, I didn't get a chance to necessarily go to the best schools. My mother struggled, all of that stuff. But what I found is that everything that happens to you in life, it's actually not designed to happen to you. It's actually meant to happen for you. And when you look at that, you're like, nah, I don't understand that. You lose people, all that stuff. But I found as I started to live, all those things actually ended up benefiting me. Okay, for college, I ended up going to UMass Amherst. I studied sport management. And when I went down there, I told you about the struggles my mother was having. So she was struggling. I was telling her, listen, we don't have money to go to college. I'm not taking a whole bunch of loans. She was like, you know what? You are going to college. I said, all right, fine. Ended up going to UMass. My freshman year, all the accomplishments you just heard, I almost threw it all away. My freshman year, I was acting a fool. I was partying, I was drinking, I was chasing girls. I was doing everything I wasn't supposed to be doing. And you know what? I was disrespecting my mother because I told you how she was struggling. And while I was there, even though she was paying for me, I wasn't respecting her hard work in getting me there and keeping me there in the first place. So what ended up happening was I ended up doing poor. My GPA was below a 2, and they suspended me for a semester. When I ended up coming back, I got it together, but there were a lot of lessons I needed to learn. I needed to, there were things I needed to learn. I needed to learn how to work hard. I needed to understand the value of discipline. I needed to understand the importance of who I surrounded myself with. A couple of the brothers talked about it. Who are your friends? I'm telling you, that's major in life, who you surround yourself with. Whoever it is, you mess with drug dealers, guess what? There's a good chance you're going to become a drug dealer. You mess with intelligent people, guess what? They're going to aspire you and motivate you to realize how great you are and be okay with being successful and being intelligent. Okay? So there's just so many different things that I want to talk to. So we got to get into this. But any sport fans in here? Anybody like sports? Okay, everybody. Okay, all Boston fans? Yeah, of course. Okay, all Boston fans. Okay, yeah. I got to ask that because I know there's some stragglers that okay, who you like? Yeah, like who's your favorite squad? Okay, so you're a Boston fan. Okay, so but it's all Boston fans in here, right? No. Oh, man, this side is heavy. This side's heavy. Who's it? Oh, Harden, you said? Okay. All right. All right. But settle down, y'all. Guys. I got a little bit of time. I want to try to squeeze as much as I can in. Okay? So I'm saying that because there's so many lessons in sports. And I feel like there are so many athletes, there's teams. We all look at those individuals or teams, and we wonder, how did they get to where they are? Okay? They've reached a high level of excellence, and we want to understand how they got to that. So today, in the brief amount of time we have, I'm going to talk about what the pursuit of excellence actually is. Okay, that's my logo, by the way. So we're going to talk about the pursuit of excellence, okay? Does anyone know who this person is? Okay.
Paulo.
See, I like that. The answer's right there. The answer's right there. But do you know who he is?
Definitely.
Okay, that's okay. So Paulo Coelho is a world-renowned author, okay? He's written a lot of best-selling books. Say it again? Yeah, Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho. Yeah, he's a Brazilian author. So there's a book called The Alchemist. Okay, so he's written a lot of, famous books. And he says that life has many ways of testing a person's will, either by having nothing happen at all or by having everything happen all at once. And I'm telling you, everything that happens for you is actually a test. Whether you have all the good things happening for you, maybe you have a lot of money, maybe you have nice clothes, however you define having everything, it's a test. It's a test to see, are you going to stay humble? Are you going to become arrogant? Are you going to start feeling like you're better than other kids who may not have the same clothes, who may not have the nice house, who may not have the nice car? It's a test. In contrast, when people don't have a lot or you don't have a lot, it's actually a test to see, are you going to accept your situation, or are you going to use this to motivate you, and are you going to discipline yourself and motivate and inspire yourself to get yourself out of that situation? So every situation you're in, it's a test. Does anyone know who this guy is? Pat Riley, absolutely. He's one of the best coaches of all time. He's coached Hall of Famers. I'm a sports guy, by the way, if y'all haven't noticed. One of the greatest coaches of all time. He's coached Magic. He's coached Kareem, James Worthy. Right now, he's considered one of the best executives. He's the president for the Miami Heat, and he's brought 3 chips to Miami as well. One time, he says excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better. Do you know what separates Steph Curry? What makes Steph Curry shoot like he can? What makes Kyrie dribble like he can? What makes LeBron skilled like he can? What makes KD skilled like he can? What makes them? Practice, right? But also, they understood that they weren't going to make it to the NBA in one day. They understood they needed to work on themselves, work on their game, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And that's what you guys need to understand. If you're going to be great at anything, whatever field you choose, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a lawyer, you want to become an engineer, you want to become a therapist, a psychologist, that's necessary, right? There's a shortage of us in there, right? If you want to become that, you got to understand it's not an overnight process. You got to work at this thing. You got to study. You every single day, whether you feel like it or not, you got to work on you every single day. It's a gradual process. Does anyone know who this man is? Absolutely. Nick Saban, head coach, Alabama Crimson Tide football team. And he once said in a recent interview, he said something as simple as being on time is important because it shows that you care. It shows that it's important to you. It shows that we can trust in you. It shows your teammates can trust you. It's important to pay attention to detail. Know what your role is and be responsible and accountable to do it. Because if you can't prove that every day, how can the other guys in the huddle trust you? They may not say it, but how can they trust you? Okay, now let's look at some of his accomplishments. So in 12 years at Alabama, he's had six chips in 12 years. Do the math. That's 50%. One every other year, he's bringing a chip to Alabama. 8 SEC championship. If y'all are college football fans, the Southeastern Conference is considered the toughest conference in football. 8 out of 12 years, 66% of the time, he's winning a conference title. 2-time Coach of the Year. He's got 146-21 record in 12 years. That means every year he's averaging a 12-1 record. Every single year. How is this possible? You heard the quote. You know how this is possible? Everything matters to him. And everything should matter to you. Showing up to class on time should matter. Studying should matter. Respecting people should matter. Whether they got, you have more than them or not. Respecting your teachers should matter. Respecting your parents should matter. Every little bit of detail matters to Saban. And that's how he's reached the level of excellence he's at right now. Now, I know that corner is not going to like this, but would you agree Boston's had a nice little run over the last 20 years, right? Yeah. Listen, it's been crazy, right? Listen, this isn't common. This is not common. Look at this. The Celtics won one in 2008. Come on, y'all. Respect. Celtics won one in 2008. The Bruins won one in 2011. Look at this. The Red Sox, 4 titles in the last 20 years. And, of course, the Patriots, 6 out of 20 in the last 20 years? Yeah. 6 out of 20 years is crazy. 6 out of 20 years is crazy. Now, how? Look at that. 6 times. They're tied with the Steelers for the most in NFL football history. The Steelers got 3 of theirs in the 70s. They got one in 2080. They got another. 1980. They got another one in. I'm ahead of myself. 1980. They got another one in 2006, 2009, something like that. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But how? How did the Patriots? How do you achieve a level of success in anything you do? Okay, guys. I just ask that you respect people when they're talking. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Okay. So 6 times. How? Who's this guy? Who's this grumpy man? Who's this guy? Okay. Afterwards, I'm just trying to respect the amount of time I have. Okay. Bill Belichick, right? I believe all great achievements start with leadership. All great leaders start with all great achievements start with leadership. Okay, and I believe that Bill Belichick is the reason why the Patriots have been successful. Okay, now let's talk about the importance of leadership or mentorship. Okay, accountability. Okay, do you realize he holds Brady accountable just like he does everybody else? So when your teachers, your mentors, your coaches, when they're getting on you, they're not trying to be hard on you. They're not trying to, hate on you. They're not trying to hold you back. They see greatness in you, and they're holding you accountable. They're making sure you do your homework. They're making sure you arrive to class on time. They're making sure you respect people. They're holding you accountable. That's what leaders do. They give you direction. Okay? Leaders give you direction. They tell you what direction to go in, what moves you need to make, what decisions you need to make. Wisdom, experience. That's what the gentlemen that were up here, the panelists, that's what they were doing with each of you. They were sharing wisdom. They were sharing their experiences. That's what I'm up here for. I'm sharing my wisdom. I'm sharing my experiences. When people who have gone through things you haven't gone through yet, listen to them. They're giving you the answers to the test before you get the test. Okay, listen to them. They're trying to help you out. And I'm trying to help you out by sharing with you a lot of the mistakes I made. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you is, with my failures at UMass, do you realize, so my MBA is at Villanova, okay? I got an MBA at Villanova, and my GPA at Villanova was 3.8. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm letting you know there were so many lessons I learned from my failures at UMass. I learned that I needed to work hard. I needed to discipline myself. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people. When I came back to UMass after, a semester off, all my friends was like, yeah, they was happy. And they was like, all right, well, let's get back to doing exactly what I was doing before. And when I decided that I wasn't going to do what I was doing before, how do you think they received me? What you think they were saying about me? I was stupid. I was acting funny now. Like, who are you? You changed. And you know what? Sometimes when people are talking negative about you, it's actually a compliment. And they was complimenting me without me even knowing it. Now, it didn't necessarily feel good when they were saying it, okay? But it felt good because I knew I needed to surround myself with the right people, not the wrong people. And you guys need to understand, again, we've said it and you've heard it plenty of times, who you surround yourself with is critical to your success. Okay, vision. What's vision? Okay, vision is, a lot of times when your parents, they see stuff in you that you can't even see in yourself. That's vision. Belichick has vision. Okay, the importance of practice. He understands the importance of practice. He understands the importance of getting better every single day. You guys need to understand the importance of getting better every single day and working on yourself. What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you spending your time with? Who are you allowing to fill your mind with what? What are you watching? All that matters. If you're not a reader, start to read. You got to work on yourself. This is a daily thing. Only if you want to become successful. If you don't want to become successful, then don't do none of this. But if you want to become successful and you want to achieve a high level of excellence, you got to get better and work on getting better every single day. Who's this guy? Tom Brady when he first started. His combine picture, right? Right? They clown him. They clown him to this day about that picture. To this day, they clown him. Now, why? Let's look at why they clown him. This is some of his combine stats. Listen, he ran a 5.2840. I believe you. I believe you. There are offensive linemen who run faster than that. There's interior linemen that run faster than that. Look at his vertical, a 24.5-inch vertical. Look at the scouting notes. Poor build, skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength, lacks mobility and the ability to avoid the rush, lacks a really strong arm, can't drive the ball down the field, does not throw a really tight spiral, system-type player who can get exposed if forced to ad-lib, gets knocked down easily. They trashed him. What can he do? Like it don't sound like he can do anything, right? It don't sound like he can do anything, right? They trashed him, right? They trashed him, right? Did you realize there's 6 quarterbacks selected ahead of him? Did you guys know that? Look at these names. Chad Pennington, first round. The Jets took him out of Marshall. Giovanni Carmazzi. Who? Giovanni Carmazzi in the 3rd round, the Niners picked him. Do you realize Hofstra? You realize Hofstra's from the subdivision. There's 1A and there's 1AA. Hofstra's 1AA. They chose him in the 3rd round over Brady. Chris Redman, 3rd round. Ravens chose him. T. Martin, Peyton Manning's backup in college. The Steelers took him. Look at this. Mark Bulger, 5th round. The Saints took him. They ended up releasing him. He ended up going to the Rams, okay? But he was drafted by the Saints. Spurgeon Wynn. Who? Spurgeon Wynn was selected ahead of Brady. 16 picks ahead of Brady, okay, out of Minnesota. The Browns got him. Do you realize there are people overlooking you guys just like them? Look at all the people that overlook Brady. Do you realize people are overlooking you guys because you're black? People are overlooking you because you're too tall, you're too small, you're too fat, your hair's crazy, you're not smart enough. Do you realize all the nonsense and foolishness people are saying about you guys? Now, what did Brady do? Brady first made a decision that he was going to shut them up. And he was like, you know what? Y'all ain't going to trash me anymore. He put in the work. And that's what you guys need to do. I would love to sit here and say that everybody's going to love you, but it's not. That's not a reality. People are going to trash y'all for no reason. They're not even going to know you and they're going to trash you. But Brady was like, you know what? I'm going to use it as fuel. How did he do it? First, he made a decision. He made a decision that I'm going to work hard. I'm going to eat the right things. I'm going to practice. I'm going to study. I'm going to work on my body. I'm going to do everything I need to do to become successful. All great achievements start with making a decision first. Okay? Then he disciplined himself. What's discipline? Someone tell me what discipline is. Say it again. No, everybody always says that. So discipline, basically, you make a promise to yourself, and you keep that promise, and you do it whether you feel like it or not. You guys go to school, right? Okay, you realize that requires discipline, right? Do you feel like going to school every day? But you go, right? Most times, right? Most times you go to school, right? He had discipline. Surroundings. We already touched on this. I'm not going to harp on it anymore. Who you surround yourself is key to success. Focus. He was laser focused. He didn't care what people were saying about him. He didn't care that at the time Drew Bledsoe was ahead of him. He didn't care. He focused himself. He had a goal, and he went for it. Now, what are you willing to do to improve today? What kind of sacrifices are you willing to make? What's keeping you? What's distracting you? What's taking your focus away from being successful? Is it girls? Is it TV? Is it your phone? What is it? That's a question. That's a rhetorical question. That's a question you're going to have to respond. What's keeping you from working on becoming a better you so that you can become successful? What is it? And that's something you got to self-reflect on, okay? If you decide and make a decision that you want to become excellent in whatever field you choose, you know what can happen? You too can be a champion, okay? You too can be the GOAT, okay? Now listen, it may not be in football. It may not be in football, okay? But you can be the GOAT, you know, of all doctors. You can be a champion when it comes to engineering. Whatever it is you decide to do, you could be the GOAT when it comes to teachers. What is it? What are you willing to do in order for you to become a champion? Okay? What are you willing to do? Okay? We know who these guys are, okay? Don't think it's coincidence that because of their friendships and the fact that they've been surrounding themselves for over 30 years. In 1995, Bill Belichick was the coach of the Cleveland Browns. His defensive coordinator that year was Nick Saban. Don't think it's coincidence that one is considered the GOAT when it comes to pro football, and one is considered the GOAT when it comes to collegiate football. Now, what are some things that'll keep you from achieving excellence? A lack of belief in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. I'm telling you, you guys have to understand how amazing you are. You really have to understand. You got to believe it first. People are not going to believe in you. Trust me. If you do not believe in yourself, what's the incentive for other people to believe in you? They're not going to believe in you if you don't full-heartedly believe in yourself first. Surrounding yourself with the wrong people, we touched on that. Laziness, lack of discipline, we touched on that. Procrastination, that's something that can keep you from achieving a high level of excellence. Now, how do you actually achieve excellence? Strong desire. What's your why? Why do you want to become successful? For me, you heard me talk about my mother, okay? I saw her struggle. And I said to myself, I want to put myself in a position where I get a chance to take care of my mother so she can enjoy her latter days more than she did her former days. Okay? June 30th, my mother turned 79 years old. Okay? She's retired. And she's here in Boston now. And that's actually, I'm staying with Mom. That's my girl, by the way. Hopefully y'all love your moms. And, I love my mother. That's my girl. Okay? But I said to myself, I want to put myself in a position where I can take care of her. And how great is it that I can take care of my mom now? What's your why? What's your strong desire? What is it? Belief in yourself. Again, we talked about that. Work ethic. Nothing is going to be given to you. You got to be willing to put in the work. Whatever you want to do, you got to be willing to put in the work. Discipline, we talked about that. Determined. When other people are talking about you, you got to have blinders on. You got to know that you know that you know that you're going to be successful and you're going to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. You got to be determined. You got to be persistent. There's going to be so many people that say you can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. You can't accept that. You got to be persistent and push forward and do whatever it is you want to do. Understand that every single thing matters. Everything matters. I'm going to end with this quote from Vince Lombardi, who's considered one of the greater coaches in pro football history. And he said that perfection is not attainable. But if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. LeBron, KD, Brady, Belichick, all those guys have a lot of great things in common. A lot of great traits. I believe what sets them apart and what differentiates themselves from everybody else is they have a belief in themselves. And you guys have to have a strong belief in yourself that you literally can do anything you put your mind to. You guys will accomplish great things. If you don't hear from anyone else, you're hearing it from this brother. You guys will accomplish great things. You will accomplish great things. I believe in you. I hope you believe in yourself. I hope you guys learned something. Thank you for your time.